that love you, and those that seek the end will find me. You see, desperation is one of the key to divine mandates. Desperation. I'm just showing this little bit by little so that we can understand certain things about our relationship with God. Because it matters a lot what I'm about to teach you now. Now, can somebody read to me 1 Samuel 16? We are about to look into the life of a young man, David. Let me give you an intro. In Israel, many years ago, God needed a prophet to guide his people because he had intentions to be their king. I'm giving you a little bit intro. Now, why God took dominion over men, he gave an order. He said, depart. Do not fuse yourself with men of other tribes. He was specific. He also said to them, do not marry from other tribes, because there is something I know about women. You see, women never toss their past away so easy. Am I communicating? Every lady remembers her origin more than a man. Your wife is more concerned about her brothers than you are about your own. See, lady. So when God understood the nature of women, he said to them, you are not permitted to marry from this tribe. Keep yourselves free. He says, you are not permitted to let your ladies go with. Because I don't want a dimension of them to be fused into you. And you know part of what it was? Reference. And that was why they gathered to Samuel and they said, we need a king. We need a king. Meaning, indirectly saying, your dominion over us no longer satisfies us. We now desire a man who we can see. You know, one of the greatest problems of Christianity is sight. If you are so diligent about what your eye can see, then you will fail as a Christian. Many of you don't believe anything you have not seen. I have not seen God raise the dead. So you don't believe in the possibility of the dead man coming back to life. You will never experience it. You see, what wires divine manifestation is divine acknowledgement of a man. As much as I believe my God can do, so will he do when I call upon him. That is how God operates. So they gathered, we need a king. And God was like, since you are not satisfied with my record, and you are not good with the prophets who will hear directly from you. Actually, I don't blame them. Because Samuel, you know, most believers neglect their children. I discovered that most of these people you call atheists, their parents are elders in church. Have you gone close to them? These people that tell you I don't believe in God. Why is it that their parents serve God in church and their religious life is having shaped? Now let me tell you, as a mother, as a father, there is a difference between going to church, serving God, and teaching your children the ways of God. You can be desperate as a parent with proper understanding of God, but there are some lacunas in your life that creates question in the mind of your children. I know it because my father is a pastor. There were times when I really believe in God. You know why? Because he stands on the pulpit and because the church, what God cannot do does not exist, and when we come back home, there is no. Tell me where is God? There are questions that runs in your mind. You see, one of the reasons it's difficult for ministers to produce children who are also pastors is because the reality of their doctrine is not seen in their life. Am I communicating? So sometimes Papa says this, but when you come back home and you look at the family, it's not in that way. It's not like that. So when he goes outside, everybody is saying the man of God, great apostle. You know, God knows how to glorify his own. A pastor can be driving a big car, having people fuel it, but he doesn't have food at home. He doesn't have money to pay his children's school fees. Those times exist. I'm telling you, ministry is not easy. So when those times come, we who are the children begin to struggle to understand his God. We begin to struggle. In as much as I have seen miracles, yet in the midst of miracles, if I give you mine, that's there, and God appears and says, can you pray for me? How many of you have more than enough to ask? Because even while we serve you, they are confused. Where are you? Why do you know that nothing is more miserable than I can't see you yet, I can't still understand you. Sometimes what they have taught me is your weight. The action, the dimension of God that proves that God is not methodical. You know what I mean by methodical? Having a particular pattern. That is one of the issues Christians have with God. Because you may never know how he occurs. But in the midst of that, we need at least a bit to understand. Yes, there are times when you are like, I know they are suffering. Maybe it's not your time. Maybe one thing or the other. But can you give me an intro on why I am here? Can you help me understand you have not neglected me? Can you help me understand I am not suffering because my God is living? Can you help me understand that things are not going wrongly? Because we understand some questions in the mind. Easily had said question. That was why when Moses went up to the mountain, they did not hesitate to create an idol. They needed something they can see, something they can understand. When you see our God, you can never understand him. I said, you see the foolishness of this world, so that your wise men will know their flesh. What did he do? Someone said, no problem, we need a king. And he anointed the first one. Saul was anointed 3 times. A man who has been anointed, man. Do you know that many of you have even more mandate than Saul? You see, in the olden days, you call oil that you play with head high. A pastor will come and pour it all over your head and waste it. In the olden days, I did a bit of religion. You don't play with oil. As a matter of fact, it's not everybody who are permitted to hold the horns of oil. Only the prophets. And before the horns of oil, the concert of Rema, before someone lifts it up, they will know that God has spoken. So when someone comes into your house with a horn, people begin to suspect something. That was why when he was going to the house of Jesus, he went by night. Are you getting it now? He was going hiding. He said to God, if Saul hears, he will kill me. Because he knows that going in the apparel of the prophet with a mantle, what they see you with the horn, they know you are going to anoint somebody for something mandatory. And at the moment, the only position that needed his place was a king. So when he met Saul and he anointed him king, no man could question. Saul said to him, I am the least of them all. And let me be frank with you, God is not after the best. Your disqualification is God's qualification as long as it's concerned. What makes you feel you are not qualified is what makes God feel you are ready. Are you getting it? And you look at yourself and you're like, I don't have what it takes to change my family. That is what he's looking for. He's looking for the inability for him to place. Because he said in his word, my strength is made perfect in what? Weakness. So at the moment he does not need a strong man. He needs that young boy who doesn't do it. That's the way God operates. He had so many reasons. But there is only one problem I have with believers. They forget where he brought them from. I remember the place where you brought me from. You see that one question? That was so. Back then I was so. When I sing it this way, I begin to reflect on my family past life. When my father was building a 5,000 statue auditorium, headquarters we have now. We were spending not less than 5 million monthly. Then we are eating sometimes once a day. Do you know what it takes to build something? It was not easy. So sometimes when I sit back there and reflect, and just think on how life was for me back then, why this cathedral was big, our life seemed to know we had no house. My father sold most of his cars to be able to build it. You know the worst part of it is that sometimes the devil knows how to raise you enemies out of your helpers. The same men who are your confidence will tell you, let's see how you build it. That was something they said when men gathered to build the temple again. So my father said, since you are questioning the reality of gospel, I will show you. Actually, he proved to them that God can. But we, man, as children, can. There are times we wake up, our mother will allow us to sleep. Till 12 a.m., 1 a.m. We sleep from night, we will leave from the bed to wake up around 12 a.m. just so that you don't ask for money. Strategy. Then when you wake up, play. You know, God has a way of putting play in the mind of children. You can't play from 12, you play to 6 in the evening. It's now when you're playing, you now remember praying to you. You now go back to a nice speak faith for your mom. By then you eat once and they say go and sleep. At the moment, things were not easy. Thoughts will run through your mind. Where is that God? But today, when a man is telling me that it's not God, I remember where he brought me from. Are you getting it? I remember where God took us from. Out of the envy of men, out of looking like we cannot make it. And he brought us to this stage. Whereby now, I've seen governors. When I go for official meetings with my father, see honor till today. But when I reflect back, I remember where this God brought us from. And that was the difference between Saul and David. David never forgets his origin.